Welcome to Pudding with Simply Scran. Simply Scran is a campaign focused on making sure that all children, young people and families in Scotland can get 3 nutritious meals a day. Throughout the week we've been releasing various bits and pieces around addressing food insecurity for children, young people and families in Scotland. But today we're going to try to do something a little bit different. We're going to move away from just looking at simply sustenance and really looking at the joy of food and cooking and baking. I am Snow, the Policy Officer at Includem, and I am joined by someone who's working on the ground with children, young people and families, the fabulous Julia Page.
Thank you very much. So yeah, I'm Julia and I'm a project worker here in Aberdeen for Includem. We go out and support young people and their families and just help them to have the best outcomes that they need, depending on what their needs are.
So today we're going to be talking a little bit about what families' experiences are with cooking, and at the same time we're going to be baking some brownies. So how would you say that kind of cooking and food plays into family life?
I think the good thing about cooking and food is it's good exercise. But no, I think with cooking with families, for families, is it brings people together. It's nice to do as a family. It creates bonds. It's memories as well, because the one thing about cooking, it can be fun. It should be fun as well, you know.
And I still haven't quite fully understood how much of a cup
So
is.
every time I have to Google what is a cup. I don't know. I've got different size cups.
I mean, look, it's not like anyone on the other side of this recording will be able to taste these brownies.
No, so we can pretend.
If they're terrible, we can just smile. So I know that a lot of the families we support often deal with food insecurity. Mm-hmm. How do you think that impacts the family?
It has a huge impact on the families because it causes a whole lot of different feelings and emotions, actually, from embarrassment to feeling like we can't provide. That has a knock-on effect as well to the well-being and make them feel angry and not knowing what to do next. And so many families as well would choose whether there's enough to feed the children and they would go without. And we do support families obviously to food banks and things like that, but I think it's got to the point where it's being able to manage finances that are already really, really tight, and the arguments that then happen because of that. And it's not what anybody wants, it's not what they want, but everything does have a knock-on effect.
Yeah. It is also that reality that, like, if you're not able to, you're already struggling to look at how you're going to be funding dinner, let alone getting to do stuff like this where you can just enjoy the time.
I know. And that's what cooking, even though obviously it is about meeting those basic needs, everybody needs food.
Yeah.
It's not all about that, it should also, everybody should be able to enjoy cooking and be able to enjoy a nice brownie or whatever else.
Yes.
There you go, I think that looks
that's looking pretty
good.
chocolatey.
Yeah.
That's good as well. How do you use kind of cooking or baking as a part of support?
So we actually use it for a lot, money being tight, and it's so easy for families to buy all the frozen foods and pop it in the freezer and then it's there ready to eat. However, even though you think that's economical, it actually isn't. And I think what we've done with a lot of the families is that we've shown actually by buying ingredients and cooking from scratch, that's really helped with budgeting as well. So, and the feedback that we've gotten, that we've seen, with the families actually is that, it's actually completely changed the way that they've approached the cooking and the family meal times. The other thing that we do is for independent living as well. So, a lot of the young people that we support move into their own accommodation and and myself included. I mean, when you're young, you think, right, well, what do I do now? So it's you having that time and putting that support in to show how actually you can make your own food from scratch.
I mean, it's one of those things where if you're, especially, you see families that are having to do, multiple jobs or already kind of trying to balance all the paperwork that it often takes to be able to access what you're entitled to in the benefit system, and at the same time trying to juggle caring responsibilities and everything else. It's hard to find the time.
I know.
For even if you're not doing all that, it's hard to find time to learn how to cook and do all that stuff. What kind of recipes do you guys tend to do, especially with the young people? Because obviously it might be their first time properly trying you out and cooking.
So you can't go wrong with a bolognese.
Okay.
Pasta bolognese. Classic. Yeah. Mince and tatties as well. That's always everybody loves mince and tatties, surely. I think the thing with cooking as well, I think until you actually start cooking, you don't actually realise the satisfaction that comes from it as well. So, there was a family that supported here in Aberdeen, and, the mum was keen to learn how to cook, partly for to save money as much as anything else, but also to learn how to cook different recipes. And the young person came along as well, but they just were having nothing to do with it. They weren't, no, I'll just sit and watch. But as the weeks went on, a bit more interest was shown, and now it's the young person that's the one that will be choosing what they're going to have and very much involved in making the food. Yeah. With some of the young people, we make the recipe books as well, so everything that they've made, it goes into a recipe book, and then that's something for them to at the end.
It's a good teaser for the potential includem recipe book coming out. But it feels like often the conversation misses that point of, you need to be able to enjoy small bits of life. You need to be able to actually have a breather, because so many families are dealing with so many time pressures at once while also being stressed about bills. So there's no kind of pockets of space where you can enjoy the little things. Why do you think they should also get to be able to have that space and time and get to enjoy food or cooking or baking or whatever it is they enjoy?
And I think the simple answer is that why shouldn't they? You know what I mean? Everybody should, and I think food meets a basic need, but food is so much more than just meeting a basic need. If you go into the hierarchy of needs, it meets so much more. There's the love, the esteem, there's everything that comes from it as well. So everybody should be able to experience that.
Yeah? Have I done this right? Yes. How is it?
Delicious.
Chocolate? Good. So what's your, if you got to choose anything, right? What would be your favourite? What's your favourite pudding?
Narrowing it down, that's tricky. I do, I like a nice crumble, actually. A nice crumble with custard.
Oh, crumble is a good time.
Yeah, so any, really. Apple, rhubarb.
Oh, did you see that crack there? That's big.
I am actually thinking this is now my favourite.
Are you one of those people where you only have crumble if you have the custard?
And you definitely need custard with crumble. At a push, I'll have cream, but ideally custard.
Yeah, I get that.
Nice and gooey.
Very nice and gooey. You know what? I might count this as a success. There's a couple of things you can do to join the conversation around food insecurity. For one, we're actually just pulled together an open letter to the First Minister and Scottish Government. So if you really care about food insecurity and making sure families have access to the food they need, please sign it and please support calling for action. You can also do what I did, which is go online and find a brownie recipe. It's something easy to do and bake with someone you know and talk about food with them as well. You can keep up with everything Simply Scran if you look at Includem's Twitter, which is at Includem2000, and look up hashtag Simply Scran, where you can join the conversation. We've been releasing pieces around food insecurity across the week. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for baking with me today.